Hey, another update from Doozer's shop. Working on the Brown Sharpe 13 surface grinder. I'm going to show you where the oil comes out. On the front way, it's that hole right there. On the rear way, there's two little small holes at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And the big holes are the drain. So you can see it feeds them top horizontal channels. And the center larger channel is the drain channel. And there's another one also over there where the two holes feed at 12 and 6 o'clock. And the center is the drain. So that's the V-way. In the flat way on the front, it comes out the big large hole in the center, and the gutters are on either side. So that's the tableways. And as far as the lubrication for the table feed, the hand feed, I went over this a little bit before, but it's kind of neat to see. Oil comes out here. That's the drain, and it's got a little standpipe to maintain a level. And then that is a wick with a standpipe, and there's another wick with a standpipe. And there's some other wicks that should be there if it was the power feed model, but it's just the hand feed model. So this whole trough fills up. And so it comes out of that pipe, and that standpipe, a little scupper, I guess you call it, it maintains a level. Like I say, there's two wicks that feed the gearbox in the main shaft and the counter shaft, and that goes down into there. There's another one, I don't know if I can get you to see it, but there's a bushing back there. Oh, you might have seen the drips. And there's a copper line, and there's a piece of copper tubing that drips inside an oiler hole on the top of that casting that feeds that rear bushing, and that of course feeds the shaft for the table back and forth. And boy, that thing really moves like butter. There's the rear retainer. I got that put on for the back bearing, and I got the whole gearbox on. And everything seems to fit really well. And I just wanted to show you that, the features of the oiling system. And of course, I got the oil dripping in that little. You can see it dripping out of the sight glass tube there, which is pretty cool. It's got a bottom one. That's just the level of the reservoir. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys how this thing oils itself. Like I said, there's the front way. That's easy to see. Comes out of that hole there and feeds the middle, and kind of the drains, the gutters are on either side. And this side, there's them two holes, 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and it's got the supply lines, the supply grooves, I guess you'd call it, on the upper part of the V-way, and the gutter in the middle. And the same over here. You have the supply little smaller holes at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and then you can see the drain in the center. And it's pretty neat. The pump is on this side, is where everything emanates from. You can kind of see there's the pump with the flex conduit coming out, and I got it hot wired in there into an extension cord, just 110 volts AC. So that feeds the pump motor, and that's. What I was getting at is the pump is on this side, and you have in the rear way you have the feed on this side and the far side. And the far side actually started feeding oil first, and literally like 5 seconds later, the nearest side to the pump started bubbling out oil. And I think that's really they sized everything really well. With the restrictions in the tubing to get everything balanced, because that's definitely what you want to see is equal feed different distances away from the oil pump source. So I think that's kind of cool. It uses, instead of the bijou type of system where it uses the restrictors, little restrictor, what would you call them, check valves or restrictor valves. It uses capillary tubing like an HVAC orifice tube would be. So it's got 1/8 inch tubing in there, it's got 3/32, it's got, I'm sure it's got 5/32, it's got a whole bunch of different types of diameters and lengths of tubing, which is a lot less likely to clog over time, being it's a larger diameter, it's not just an orifice or a jet, so it does it with a larger diameter piece of actual tubing, and the length of the tubing gives you restriction due to the viscosity of the oil. So anyways, yeah, I got all this back together, this gearbox. I'm very happy. This thing is just amazing how smooth it is, and how everything went back together so well after I had to rebore a few dowel pins for alignment and all that stuff that should not have been leaving the factory like that. But like you say, I don't know what happened, if there was a machinist strike in 1981 when this thing left the factory. But anyways, oil does come out here. I got a little, there's the copper tubing that feeds the in and out axis, the Y, and that I put a little vacuum plug over that because I verified it is dripping for sure, so I didn't want to have a mess. But like I say, that feeds the rear ways, and that just connects on, as I covered before, to that cover, which I got to clean yet. And that piece of copper tubing goes inside the cover and it drips underneath it. And I got the wicks are underneath this. I got it on the chair upside down, but there's wicks on the bottom of this, and distribute the oil to the ways on either side, and then the nuts. Yeah, I'm super excited. I wanted to kind of just document on the video that the oil pump was working, and I got it hot wired, like I say, for 110. I'll put the cabinet back on. And everything's flowing, because you always worry on these older machines, you know, are the restrictors going to clog up and become non-functional, and you get no oil flow. But wow, this is just flowing just beautifully, just beautifully. One thing I want to mention, I might even, I might do this. From looking inside, there's the motor. Maybe you can hear it on the video, I don't know. And there's the oil fill cap. But this screw here, it's like a little, there's a screw and a screw, and I think they're just plugs. They don't do anything. That screw there, it's a nut, jam nut in a slot, and I believe that is a pressure regulator, because on the inside it spills out. You know how regulators, the excess, it just bleeds back to the tank. And so that's what that is. So I'm going to play around with that and give it a half a turn and watch the bypass flow on the inside to see if I can turn up the flow. I don't know why you wouldn't give it, I want to give a little bit more, just because more oil is always better. It doesn't ever drip on the floor, it goes back to the tank. So I'm going to adjust the oil flow to see, just assure that I get good flow. And I am regardless, but I just want to see, experiment. It's my engineering nature to try and just see how this stuff works. But boy, oh boy, this is kind of cool. I don't know if I mentioned this in the video. I gotta get my focus worked out. That front scupper pipe with the wick in it, I drilled a little 1/16 of an inch hole at the bottom, so the wick doesn't have to rely on capillary action and completely suck the oil up and over the standpipe. So it gets a little feed from the oil level itself, because I wanted to make sure that particular one gets a lot of oil, and it's actually higher for some reason and smaller than the back one. So I got a little bit of extra oil going to that, because that's the main feed for this whole gearbox assembly. And that other one kind of feeds this pinion bearings, which are roller bearings, and they don't really need that much oil. So I did that. I pulled that tube out and gave it a little extra flow. But anyways, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on how the lubrication system works on this Brown Sharpe 13 grinder, and demonstrate how it flows and shows the flow paths, and hope you enjoy the video. Bye.